Oh, here we are. Wait, over here. Boobs. All right. Hey, welcome to Live. We got a couple of guests over there. No, just one. Actually three. It's Dixie and the girls.
Oh, Jesus.
Welcome to American Sex Podcast Live. I'm Sunny Megatron.
I'm Ken Milbourne-Berg.
And we are the hosts of American Sex Podcast, which isn't quite this. Okay, here's the deal. We have a regular podcast that airs every Monday. It drops, except for we're on hiatus now, so it didn't drop this week. But this is a live version of our podcast here on Get Vocal. It's totally different content than what you hear on, Apple Podcasts and Spotify and whatnot. Waffles, don't be a dick. Okay, there's boobs. They should pacify you. All right, so
she needs 6 titties to pacify a dog.
Oh, okay, yeah, dogs have 6 tits?
I think so.
I don't know. We're word animalers, so we don't even know. Anyway, how many tits do bunnies have?
A lot.
Because they have a lot of children?
I think 7 or 8.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 18.
No.
Imagine having 18 tits. I don't know what's happening. I don't do drugs. Anyway.
I want 18 tits now. Thanks for putting that in my mind.
Nobody can think which cross between like Dixie's tits and 18 tits. We're all just in tit
Hi,
land.
Christian.
Hi, Christian.
Hi,
okay,
Adam.
So here's the story. This broadcast is simulcasting on Facebook. It's simulcasting on Periscope, and it's simulcasting on YouTube Live. However, if you want to interact with us and Dixie, and right now I'm actually going to lock the spots because you're going to interact later. But if you want to interact and ask questions or be a part of the chat and ask questions, pop on camera, you have to be on the Get Vocal platform. So here's the story. You got time. Get your butt over to bit.ly, bit.ly, Sunny Get Vocal. That's SUNNYGETVOKL. That way you can interact with us and do all the fun stuff. And also, when the recording stops, we have an after party, and you don't get to be here if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, or if you're on Periscope. You got to be on Get Vocal. All right. So what other ball washing do we have to do before we get started with our guest? It's like a mystery guest. You know her boobs. That's it. Who else? If you want to participate in the chat and you're on a phone, all you have to do is swipe right, I think, and the chat will open up. What else? Oh, if you've missed our older episodes, here's what you got to do. Thank you, Adam. Adam's giving us tips. Yay! The tips are for Dixie's boobs, right? Yeah. Make it rain on Dixie's boobs. So, what was I saying? Boobs are so fucking distracting. No, I know. Oh,
it's dick or pick.
If you've missed our other episodes, you can catch all of the recorded past episodes at that bit.ly link that I gave you. The trick is you have to be logged in to Get Vocal and subscribe to our channel to unlock all of those past episodes. All right. And as you can see, as Adam so displayed here on Get Vocal, if you like what you see, whether it's us or whether it's those, you can leave a tip right there in the chat. You can give us V-Coins as well. If you'd like to support us other ways, you can do that on Patreon at Patreon, patreon.com/American Sex. And one last really exciting announcement. I think I got everything. Oh, 2. Actually, really exciting. I know it's on my list. I know, Ken. That's why I have notes.
Is that on your list?
It's on my list. 2 really exciting things. One is we have been spending our podcast hiatus time putting together a Discord server. You are welcome to join. I know a lot of people that are here in the, hi, Rachel, right? A lot of people that are here in the chat know, and I'm going to paste here. There's also the link to Dixie's live stream. That's going to be body storytelling. We'll tell you about that in a minute. And also American Sex Discord. The cool thing is, we have that TV show, Sex with Sunny Megatron. It's on Showtime. But like we produced the show, we created the show. So we got the DVDs and we can play them. on Discord, we can do private screenings with Q&A. So starting this coming Tuesday, which I don't know what someone figure out what the date is on Tuesday and put it in the chat because I can't remember. I think it's the 28th. For our $10 and up patrons, we will be doing weekly screenings of Sex with Sunny Megatron, episode by episode by episode. So for the next, do we have 6 episodes or 8? 6 episodes, right? I can't remember. It's been so long.
I don't remember.
I think is it 8?
It's 8.
It's 8. I don't know. But for how many ever weeks we have episodes? Every Tuesday night for our $10 and up patrons. The cool thing is, I haven't watched Sex with Sunny Megatron for years, like maybe 2015.
Yeah.
So you're going to get the reactions with us. We're going to be like, oh shit, that happened. I totally forgot about that. Or remember behind the scenes. So you get all that stuff. So that's our exciting news. 428. Thank you, Rachel. And our first episode is the clown orgy episode. And our clown orgy organizer, Miss Maya Sinstress, I think is going to be in the stream with us. So pretty sure, don't 100%, but I'm pretty sure. All right. So with all of that said, we have not just 2 beautiful guests, but these guests are attached to a head and a neck. Dixie De La Tour of Bawdy Storytelling. I know a lot of you are Bawdy Storytelling fans. So, you know, give it up for Dixie. I don't know. We can't hear you. So clapping and the thing. Yes. Okay. So Dixie, I'm going to let you do the honors and tell people about you, what you do, why, if they don't know you, shame on them, they should. So who are you, Dixie?
I am a sexual folklorist who created the original sex and storytelling series, Bawdy Storytelling, which celebrated its 13-year anniversary, and then the world ended. So apparently, my world likes things to end on nice, precise moments. Like 13 years, gone. World is gone. I have an award-winning podcast. And now I'm doing Bawdy Storytelling live shows online as live streams.
Yes, and I have that link in the chat there. I pasted it. And like I said, if you're on Facebook or YouTube or Periscope, you can't see what's in the chat. You're not going to get the good links. So come on over to Get Vocal. So that's what we're going to talk about today because, you know, I'll tell you what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about moving sex positive communities online. And the reason that I wanted to talk about this is, as you said, 13 years, everything's going great. Dixie's got her live shows. This is also the way you make your living is on these live events. And suddenly for you and like many other sex positive event hosts and producers, no matter what they do, well, like we're not event producers.
Well, yeah,
we have live event, but we don't do like big shows.
I have in the past.
I know, but like not right now.
Well, no, there's a pandemic. Right?
Anyway, you know, we're freaking out. You know, it's like, oh shit, why would anybody want to do stuff online? I think is our first thought, you know. And I found it a little interesting that I was on our Discord. I've been on our new Discord a lot. And someone said today, like, oh, you're going to have Dixie on. I love her. And I love the community that she's created. And I've heard other people say that too. Like, of course, Bawdy Storytelling is amazing, but Bawdy also wouldn't be what it is without the whole community that surrounds it. So let's start there. When you realized that you couldn't do live events anymore, what was going through your head as to like, you know, what the fuck are you going to do?
Well, I had a good panic attack for about the first 2 weeks. And then everybody said, you can do what everybody's doing. You could do Facebook Live. You could do all of these things. And I'm like, I'm not going to produce something online unless it can be unedited, because Facebook Live, I'm seeing my friends get their sex positive events taken down. And so I was like, it's got to be on a platform where we can be what we are. Like, we talk about buttholes. We talk about fisting. We talk about real stuff that's not edited. Your mom's not in the room. You can be your true self. It's going to be relatable, and it's going to be a beautifully told story, but it's got to be you know, the way you talk to your friends, the way you wouldn't edit yourself around your friends. So I was really against it at first. I was like, it's not going to translate to online. And then I started looking at what other storytelling shows were doing. And I was like, this might work. But we're different. We're different. We're sex positive. It might not work the same way. So I started watching every single live stream I could get my hands on so I could just see how everybody was doing it, see how people acted, because we all know people online don't always act the way they would if they were in person. They're not as well behaved.
Yeah.
I would say I was really surprised. I did my first live stream this past Saturday night, and that well-behaved audience that I've cultivated at the live shows is just as well-behaved online. Like when people would go, they'd go, please calm down. Please be respectful. They were taking care of each other. I didn't have to take care of anything. It's incredible.
That's freaking amazing. You know, it's interesting because we've all had this technology, you know, and I know that like we've talked before where in the past you've considered like, oh, maybe I should do a streaming version. Maybe I should do more. And you've always been like, no, like live is where it's at, you know? And I've been talking, and again, we're talking in the Discord, but I was talking to other people too about the same thing. On our TV show, Sex with Sunny Megatron, we did a digital orgy, like a Skype orgy, you know, in 20.
You're the one?
Well, we did. I don't know if we invented it, but we did it on the show. We did it on the show in 2014. And now I'm one of those people who I really gravitate towards online stuff because I don't like to leave my house. I'm kind of homebound. So to me, when we planned out this segment and we shot the show, I was like, first of all, I don't know why I haven't seen more online orgies. Second, like this is fucking great. Maybe people start doing more online orgies now. And when it aired, people were like, you know, that's a really cool concept. Maybe I might get into it under certain circumstances, but nah. And nobody really cared. And I was like, really? Nobody? And now suddenly, like, I think it was Joanna Angel and some people like lesbian online orgy porn and all the online orgies are all the rage. And I'm like, what the fuck, guys? Like, I told you about this 6 years ago. Nobody wanted to do it. And now people,
go ahead.
People are saying that I never would have given it a chance had I not been forced to. But now that we're under quarantine and we have no choice and I did it, I realized there's so many other benefits I never would have imagined. And that's why I didn't.
And what were the benefits that they listed?
Just like the being able to connect with people on the camera. Some of the benefits are if you're fucking people who are more strangers that maybe in real life you'd be like, I don't know if I want to go to your house because I don't know you yet. You don't have that safety issue. There's no STI issues. There's no like
pregnancies.
Yeah. There's no like logistic, like whose house do we have? I got to clean. I got to make food. There's none of that. It's just like.
You have to clean the wall behind you.
Right. Exactly. So I found that really interesting hearing people say that. So what are some of the benefits that you've seen in some of your online events or really any other online events that you've been privy to or heard about that you're hearing people say, I never thought that, you know, this was so great, or even that you've observed yourself?
I'm not sure I'm answering that question, but I had another thought while you were saying it. I think one of the reasons that people don't do online orgies is because we can't figure out how to make it work. It's very complicated. I think because, like, for example, at the live stream that we did on Saturday, somebody described an online orgy and told how you walk in, how you enter, what do you do, where do you come, how do you be prepared, where do you point your camera? And the thing about storytelling is it's such a great roadmap for how to figure things out. If you're figuring out if you're queer, if you're trans, if you're polyamorous, any of those things, you listen to a story where everybody lays out those elements and you go, oh, or you can go, what was the name of that? And now we have these online places where afterwards you can do a Q&A and you can ask questions of the people and say, hi, how did that work? And you can ask somebody who's experienced. One of the biggest complaints I get from people is our audience is all over the world and they don't have anybody to ask these things of. You know, they don't have a sex positive community. So they'll write me and go, you said there are virtual orgies. How does it work? And I'm like, well, I'll find you a story. And the story goes and lays out the exact thing. And then they can ask questions if there's holes in the story that they didn't quite pick up on. And I think a big reason that a lot of people didn't adapt back in 2014 and that they are now is because we're realizing we're going to have to walk them through these things. It's not as obvious as it sounds.
Right. Yeah. I know, like, I attended your live show on last Saturday, and I might be telling a story in the next one. You heard it here first. But I learned a lot from Reed's story about the online orgy that I didn't know. Even though we filmed the segment and planned it, like, we did ours based off of Skype, which is a very simple it's like y'all come on, you know, come on screen, and then come on screen, and you're all in squares and that's it. Where Zoom, I still don't quite understand Zoom. There's like breakout rooms where you can go private with the person and this and that. And just hearing him describe it, even though I was still like, there's stuff I need to know. It's kind of like how you don't know. If you don't know what you don't know, you have no idea. But at least, like, I still might not know how to visit a breakout room, but now I know they exist. And I know that when he told his story, I heard about the creative ways he used the breakout room. So it's like, okay. And then I heard about some of the mistakes he made, like, you know, flirting with someone, then you can't find what square they're in or where they're at. And, you know, so now I know if I have an online Zoom orgy, which is a bigger, complex piece of software, software, I know what to expect, you know? So I found that super helpful.
Yeah,
I really
and plus, when in storytelling, the key to a really great story is vulnerability. And you're going to admit you couldn't find the person whose voice is talking to you going, oh, yeah, fuck yourself with that dildo. And you're like, who's talking to me? You feel like an idiot when it happens to you. But if you hear somebody else tell a story about how it works and they couldn't figure it out, you're like, oh, that's right. None of us have any idea what we're doing. We're making this stuff up as we go along. We're inventing it right now.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a question here from Moxie for both of you that I think is pretty important.
Yeah.
What about for folks whose love language is physical touch? So do you guys have a response for that? And Rachel says, yes, Moxie, I'm dying.
You want to go? You want me to go?
You go.
Eeny, meeny. That's hard. Like, you can't just invent like a person and, you know, hologram them into your room for an hour and then, you know, make them go away. You have to be creative. Like we had Kate Lurie, who was a licensed marriage and family therapist, on the podcast right when the COVID thing started. And we talked about that. And she said that it may not be a sex thing, but one of the things that she has suggested to people and people have found helpful is to get a weighted blanket, because it's kind of like the hug. You know, there's a lot of exploration and self-touch and like imagination, unfortunately, because you can't just, you know, order touch on Grubhub and have it delivered to your door with touchless delivery. But you know, you can't get touch with touchless delivery. I don't know. But it's hard.
One of the things that came to mind as soon as Roxy asked that question was, I have a musical act who performs for me sometimes, Shirley Nome. And Shirley Nome has a song called Pillow Boyfriend. So she just will, you know, she'll be on tour, she'll be staying in hotels. So she just invents a fake boyfriend out of the pillows in her bed and makes out with it. And it's the closest she can come to touch while she's traveling.
I used to do that when I was a teenager. Yeah, like a blanket pillow person, and like you like do the make out on your arm.
Did you call it Ken?
Well, no, because I didn't know you then. I know, but I would have had I known you.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's not
That means
easy.
you're sleeping with blanket Ken and me at the same time, and you're not sharing.
Yeah, it's a Ken threesome, 2 Kens. Yeah, I mean, that's hard. And I think that, I'm trying to predict trends, like being someone who comes from a marketing background where I'm like trying to forecast the future and what behavior is going to be amongst large groups of people. I like geek out on like, how's this going to affect society, and how are people going to behave now, and how are people going to consume their media? And I really think that because we don't have the ability to experience touch anymore, especially in these like sexual communities that are online, people are gravitating a lot more towards emotional intimacy, towards, if you're into kink and you do more physical, like, flogging and sensation play, you have no choice but to take that to, brain is the biggest organ, domination play or humiliation or mind fuckery, or just like, creative, walking your partner through creative mental fantasies. Like, we have no choice but to do that. And I also think because we're also emotionally fucked up right now, like maybe that really is what we need, whether we know it or not. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, all of that. I would just actually jumped ahead in my mind. I'm having trouble paying attention right now, and I've always been a phone person. I've always been an oral person. And I know that you just had Midori on where she was talking about oral sex and things like that. And I was just thinking, yeah, that would work great for me. But the thing I would need is I'd probably need to feel like somebody was there with me. I'd probably have to have somebody having phone sex with me on the phone, even though I could see the screen, even though I could hear the screen, even though I had all the visuals. I'd want to have the voice in my ear.
So maybe like, this would be cool. Bluetooth your Bluetooth headphones to the computer and have them, like, I play with somebody who does that. He has like the big headphones and puts my voice, like we're on Skype, but puts my voice in the headphones, and then, perfect. And I've always thought like that must be really intense. Like my voice is like noise canceling Bose headphones right in both of their ears.
You're a podcaster. It's so intimate to have somebody speaking right into your ear. It sounds like they're telling you a secret. To be able to have that and add with the visuals of a live stream or an online orgy or anything like that, it's multitasking.
Yeah.
But God, it does sound like an orgy. It sounds like a lot going on at the same time, just like an orgy.
Mm-hmm. Now, have you noticed your community being more, and needy is not the right word, because people have a negative connotation when they hear needy, and I don't mean it in a negative way, but more, I don't know, like wanting to be interactive, and, whether that's interacting with you, interacting with other people in the community, are they like searching for someone to grab onto as their community more than normal?
I think so. I'm starting to get a lot more, you ask people when you're a podcaster, you're like, I love messages. Please send me an email. Send me a voice memo of your voice so I can hear your voice, because that's so much better than reading an email. But email, second best, take it every single time. I'm getting a lot more contact from people who want to talk to me and tell me their stories. And I've always gotten a good bit of that. But I'm getting a lot more since the pandemic started, or since shelter in place started. Just not to talk to somebody.
Yeah, it's like people want to be heard. And,
like on Saturday night, I was up till like 5 a.m. reading long emails from people.
Wow.
There was one guy who lives in South Africa who he was telling me the whole story about how his job was gone and he had to stay on contract for 3 months and he wasn't going to get paid for that time, and his partner was that, and he was just like, being able to be part of this community on Saturday night is the only thing that's made me feel hopeful in a lot. And then after tuning in for the live stream, email this long telling me everything that was going on, telling me that he'd set his alarm clock because it'll be playing at 4 a.m. in South Africa, and it was the next day. So it was his birthday. He's like, and it came on, I set the alarm clock, and it was on my birthday, and I felt like I had a party. We can't have parties anymore. Like, I mean, we can have Zoom parties, but we can't have birthday parties the same way. He felt like he was there having an actual party.
Don't listen to her waffles.
What? Oh, because it's almost his birthday.
It's almost Waffle's birthday.
So I find it interesting because you do your shows like regularly in San Francisco and Seattle are like kind of your two main cities. And then sometimes you'll do Chicago. You did New York not that long ago. You know, different. Yeah. So, and I have been at your shows where people are like, I live halfway between New York and Chicago, so I just drove 5 hours to come to the show because there is no body in the middle of, I don't know, Ohio or, you know, whatever. So now the world can equally participate. So it's like, think of people who are normally have barriers of entry to your show, people who live out in the middle of nowhere, people who, for one reason or another, it's hard for them to get out of the house. Maybe they're disabled. Maybe they have 18 kids and a babysitter's too expensive. Maybe, you know, whatever it is. So now suddenly your community, like let's say you're doing a show in San Francisco, your community in that show, I would guess, is mostly San Franciscans, people in the surrounding areas, and you have a small handful of people that drove a couple of hours. Yeah. Now, suddenly you have an audience that's worldwide. There's a guy in South Africa waking up at 4 a.m. on his birthday. And I found it interesting because I love that during your like intermission of your show, you did that survey where you had everyone fill out like, where are you from? You know, have you ever attended a live show? Have you, you know, that sort of thing. And I can't remember the exact numbers. I think it was like, was it like close to 40% of the audience online had never been to a live show? Was that, am I remembering that right? It was like 36% or
places
something.
I'd never been before. We had, I think, something like 37% were like in Canada. I've never done a show in Canada, you know?
Wow. So wow. Crystal's here, by the way. Hi, Crystal.
Crystal, take your glasses off, please.
We'll do it. Yeah. So
you know what? When this thing is over and we tour again, we're going to know where to tour. Because these people, even if they've never seen a live show, if they're going to set the alarm clock to be in the middle of the night, they're probably super fans. And super fans will do, like you said, they'll drive a few hours. They'll go above and beyond. And the thing about live events is by the time you pay for a plane ticket and a hotel room and you rent a very expensive venue, because venues are expensive, and all of those things, what if you put it on the wrong night? What if it's a Thursday and people are like, I work crazy hours and I can't be on? Like, it's such a crapshoot going on.
Yeah.
This is great information, having it online. And it's not just people saying, I would totally come to your show. It's people kind of showing you that they mean what they say. These analytics are just such great information for when the world comes back to normal. But I can tell you what, I'm probably going to continue doing live streams long after that because it just makes sense. I'm learning. I was totally against it, but I'm learning so much now.
Yeah. So that I want to ask like your predictions. You know, I think about the sex positive community at large, not just like, you know, body, but who, you know, the kinky salon people, the sex party people, the dungeon people, whoever, you know, whatever, our larger community. How do you think going through this period of moving ourselves completely online is going to change us for the long haul? Like, do you think it's going to have a significant impact on like our individual like cultures of our little communities and how we operate?
I think the AIDS epidemic is a really good indicator of how people reacted after the things that you could catch from being in person. You know, I mean, there are people who started having much more spiritual sex. There are people who found other ways other than physically touching each other to feel safe. I think online sex, we're going to grab hold of it, understand it, and we're going to add it to our repertoire. I don't think it's going to replace, the real thing, but I think we're going to be a lot less intimidated by it.
Yeah. And I also wonder if this community, even though I think, like you said, I very much agree that we're going to get more into emotional intimacy and mental, biggest organ is the brain. That's what we need kind of thing. But I do wonder, because sex positive communities are now becoming more accessible, are we going to be not as like shoved in the corner and alt and weird and, are we going to become more mainstream? Are people going to talk if we have dinner parties, are people going to talk at their Zoom dinner parties, how they went to a Zoom orgy last week? Like it's no big deal. Or like 50 Shades of Grey came along and suddenly like the New York moms were like, oh yeah, my husband tied me up, no big deal. Like, do you think?
I don't know the answer, but wouldn't that be great? Like,
yeah,
we've been ostracized for so many years. I mean, I was a Southern girl. I used to always be this person, and people go, why are you so weird? Why are you so just say what you think? And I'm like, why aren't you saying what you think? And I think, wouldn't it be great if we all just went, yeah, I've been locked in my house for 6 months. Don't you think I went to a Zoom orgy? Of course I went to a Zoom orgy. What would you do after 6 months without touch? Maybe that's going to normalize it.
I wonder. I'm so excited. I mean, not like, I wish this didn't happen.
Yeah.
But the weird marketer in me and the weird like sociology geek in me and behavioral science geek in me is like, how is this going to change us? And I'm excited for people to have access. Like, I think for me, that's always been a big thing. And that's why, like, I'm a good business person with other people's money. I used to have clients with millions upon millions of dollar budgets that I would spend and buy, with their money every month, and I manage it like crazy. My business, I'm like, I don't want to charge too much for that, because then what if people can't afford it and they need it? Just give it away for free, because everyone needs this information.
Isn't it? It's so much easier when it's like you can see the value of something. Like, for example, what you and Ken do. I totally see the value of your workshops, your like online courses, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, you have decades of knowledge. Totally.
Yeah.
But can I do that for myself? I have a hard time doing it for myself. That's the thing about being in marketing. You're sitting there going, this company creates something that's amazing. Nobody else creates anything. I am going to make sure the world knows about it. That's what a marketer does. It's hard to do it with yourself.
It really is. And it's like, I think, like you said, at first you were like, nobody's going to want to do this online shit. I'm done. Like, I'll be living in a cardboard box. Like, I'm not making any more money now. And you were surprised to see, like, because you had 500 tickets sell out. That's fucking amazing.
I cannot believe it. I was like, the lowest level Zoom sold was 500. And I'm like, that is total overkill. There's no way we need, but I guess that's lowest. So that's what we do. And we just breezed right past it. And I was like, I don't understand this brave new world. I mean, could I fill 500 seat at a live venue? I'd be throwing it on the wrong night. I'd be doing it on the part of town where parking is hard. All of those things. It's awful easy when you don't have to commute anymore, where you don't have to worry about whether or not there's access to the front door, there's any issues, any of that stuff.
A lot less overhead, too.
Say that again?
A lot less overhead, too.
That is the truth. I was telling a story on the Risk podcast live stream, and I had a whole bunch of people because it was on a European time. All of these people were saying, you're going to bring your show to Europe, right? You're going to bring your show to Europe. And I'm like, entirely possible, but do I know anything about Europe? I mean, do I know how to make sure I get the right venue, that anytime you go on tour, you learn that you did it wrong. You got a venue, long venue. You gotta, you learn so much. But if you're making mistakes online, there's way less at stake. Everybody's kind of like, it's online. How perfect going to be?
Right. Exactly. And I think people are a lot more understanding to like, oh, if you had a tech issue or if you had it's like, that's going to happen. Like, no big deal, because I know we've done live stuff where it's like something's, and people are like, oh, it's okay. I'm like, wow, nobody's complaining that, something went wrong or the screen froze or the this or the, what was I going to ask?
I had one guy write me the day after the live stream show to say, I just want you to know I work in tech, and this show that you did had the highest production quality of any Zoom event I've seen since this whole pandemic started. You saw it. It was not perfect. It was not perfect, and people are still being generous.
No.
It was really good.
It was not perfect in your mind. It's just like anything. Like when you're doing a show, you may have said like, I'm going to plan to do this thing in the show. And then something happened where you didn't execute it right. Or maybe you forgot to do it. And then you're like, after the show, you're like, oh shit, I forgot that funny joke I was going to tell. But now everything's ruined. The audience never knew you were going to tell that funny joke in the first place. So to them, it's perfect. So I think it's the same thing with like, if you feel that a few things went wrong on the tech side, nobody knew what you had envisioned in the first place. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's being hard on yourself because and you're a perfectionist within yourself. And I think we all do this. And I think that's part of what is holding a lot of event producers or even sex positive community members that want to like, that maybe have house parties or, small events for their friends, that might be what's holding them back from moving that stuff online is like, I don't understand the tech. What if something goes wrong? So I know you had a producer or whatever behind the scenes, like Marty, who does your editing, was helping you. But but you had a big production. Like, it's not like you were hosting like, okay, here's an orgy, everyone do their thing. It was a show. But what words of encouragement, I guess, do you have for people that want to do something online, even if it's something of a small scale?
I think we're so incredibly lucky that we're part of a community that is, sex positive community is the most generous place. I've always said perverts are the nicest people I've ever met. People come into a live show and they're always like, hi, can I do anything? Like, you're like, sure, we need some more chairs out. And they're like, okay, please give me something to do. They have to be of service. And in the same way, that same generosity, those people are just waiting to help. They're waiting to help you manage the room. They're waiting to give you huge rounds of applause so that they can show everybody else how you behave. That's one of the things I really love about my audience is we have this whole team of people who've been coming since the beginning who are just like, are you new? Of course you're nervous. This is, it's sexy. Of course you're nervous. But we just want to show you we're regular people, just like you. We've been here longer than you. If you have any questions or if we can help or if you're nervous, just pull me over and, there's one man who's been coming to the show for a little while and he'd been wanting to come to the show for 10 years and was so nervous about walking in that room. And he sent me a message, a voice memo so I could hear how nervous he was. And he's like, I'm going to come to the live show. And I'm fucking terrified, but I'm going to do it anyway. Because it's a hurdle to walk into a room where you don't know what to expect. Half the people who come for the first time think they're walking into an orgy. They don't know. It's a storytelling event. I put it in the name. I don't know how much more clear I can make it for you. But when he came in, I was just like, oh my God, you're so brave. And I said, this is so-and-so. I want you to meet some people. And I said, can y'all take them under your wing? And they're like, of course, please sit with us. And everybody made them feel welcome. So now it's that much easier the next time. I think that same sense of community is going to be happening online. We want to have a job now. We want to be able to make other people feel welcome. We want to feel smart. How smart do you feel when you get to go, that person was talking about CBT? What does that mean? And you can say, well, some people would say it means cognitive behavioral therapy, but that's in the therapy world. And this one is cock and ball torture. You heard of that? Let me explain it to you. They get to feel smart. The person needs to learn. Everyone's feeling good. Same thing can happen online.
Yep. So question for you, and I don't know the answer to this, and I'm trying to figure it out. So I was talking to someone about, the online orgy conversation of like, oh, we did it, and I was really surprised that there were so many benefits, the things I didn't realize how it would be really cool. However, wait
a minute. You lost me because I looked over there and it said, or it's a delicious drink at your show. When you didn't realize the benefits of what?
An online orgy. The person I was talking to was like, I did it. I didn't realize how, awesome it was going to be and all these hidden benefits I didn't realize. However, the thing that they did miss was the one-on-one interaction of like having a couple drinks. And I was like, you're right. Like they say there's no better snacks and hors d'oeuvres than like sex party food. Like, how like you're at the sex party, you go to the food table, you're having a few drinks, you're mingling, you're talking, so it's like that.
That was a sex party producer. I would argue with you on that one.
Okay, maybe dungeon parties and sex parties are different because I usually go to dungeon parties.
Have you ever I always had a rule when I threw sex parties. There's little fucking cubes of cheddar cheese. I'm like, we're not putting those. Everybody's like, it's easy, and the vegetarians will be happy. I'm like, have you ever tried to make out with somebody 2 hours after they ate a cube of cheddar cheese? They've been sucking on a foot.
True. I do, but I like cheese. I still like cheese.
I'm not making out with you.
It's my fetish. Don't kink shame, Dixie. So, but like, how there's that, you go to a sex party or whatever, you might have that time when you get there and you're kind of checking things out and you're a little nervous. Maybe like the guy who was like at your show for the first time. You kind of got the butterflies and you have a drink and you see an interesting person that you don't know and you start chit-chatting one-on-one and you feel a little comfortable and you have some great conversations. That's not happening online. And it's like, I haven't figured out, is there a way to replicate that, to have that happen online? Is that maybe something that we sacrifice? Like we move online and we get all these other benefits, but that's something that has to fall by the wayside. Like, do you feel that it's missing? Like, do you feel like, oh shit, that's missing? And
I think they're figuring that out. The breakout rooms, all of that. They're finding a way for people to connect in advance. I mean, that's what Bango is at the live show. It's an opportunity to connect. They're figuring out how to do that in orgies and other spaces. It's not, how long have we been in quarantine? Not everybody's figured it out yet. Everybody's like, add Bango this way to the online. I'm like, give me a minute. It's a storytelling show. Can I figure out if I can do storytelling online? And then I'll start adding the other pieces of the offline stuff back in. But I think that one of the things that feels most important is like, do you ever just wonder if you're alone in your house, will anybody notice that you're gone? Do you ever wonder, I could be gone 3 days before somebody found out I was missing, because we don't see each other. We don't have that in person. But now you go into a room and you have a conversation and you feel seen, and they say, if it's an orgy, they're like, oh, I like that lacy bra you're wearing, or they say, I like your bunny ears, and you get to have some discourse with them, and you get to go, I had an interaction with a human being. Somebody proved that I exist. Somebody saw me, and you get to walk away a little bit better than you did when you were locked up in your house for weeks and weeks without anybody saying, like, making eye contact with you on screen like you and I are doing right now.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I'm okay. Now I'm making eye contact with you, Dixie. I know. It's like I try to line it up and it never works. But...
It looked like you were looking at me.
Oh, it did? Okay, good. So here's what I want to do. I want to open up our 2 spaces for questions. So audience, if you want to ask Dixie a question or whatnot, I'm going to unlock these spots. Just hit grab this spot. If you just want to like hang out after the broadcast is over at 9:00 Pacific, we're going to hang back and just like hang out and talk about off-topic stuff. So if you have like off-topic stuff, save it for the hangout. But I'm gonna open up the slot. Ta-da!
Open up the sluts?
The slots.
Open up the slots. Open up the slots.
So, okay, at the beginning of this, you were like, holy motherfucking shit, my whole income, my whole profession is gone.
Yeah.
Like, what am I gonna do?
And within Saturday, it had been 2 months since I'd made any money because that was my shit.
So at this point, you know, even though you just have one show under your belt, are you going to be living in a cardboard box in a couple of months? Or you think like online is going to help you through this?
I don't think it's going to be what it was, but I think it's going to help. My podcast producer was like, okay, Dix, we've got the live stream and we've got the podcast, and he does both. And he goes, there's this device I want, and it's going to make the editing faster. And do you think we could get that? And I'm like, can you wait until I get like another show or two, like making income from it, and then we'll buy? Like, totally. Yes. I want to make your life a lot easier than it is because he's fucking saving my ass right now. But it's one show. It's just one show after 2 months without anything. So it's going to take a while to catch up. And I don't know if it'll ever catch up, you know?
Right. Right.
But it feels good to be making money, you know?
Yeah, shit. On that note, this is a perfect plug right here. I've opened the door for you. What are ways, because I know there's lots of fans here of yours. What are ways, besides buying a ticket to your online shows and going, what other ways can people support you, whether that's monetarily or not? Like, what can people do to help you or other sex positive event creators stay afloat?
Well, my dog Quake would like me to say that you could send a box of bully sticks because he really needs some bull penis. Message me and I'll give you my address. Bull's penis waffles.
Oh my God.
I was amazed. So many people, like the first shows that I canceled, a lot of people, I was just like, people would send me some money on Venmo. And they'd say, this is for the COVID body. That's not happening. I'm buying a ticket for the show that's not happening right now. And it made me cry every time it happened because I was just, I mean, in the same way, if you're not online at the orgy, you're not on stage. Do people remember you? You don't get that feedback that I love my once a month connection that I get to have in each city where I get to see people and hug them and all of that kind of stuff. And I didn't have that, but they showed me that they remembered me nonetheless. And that good. I've got a Venmo, I've got a PayPal. Patreon's the best way. And Patreon, one of the things I really want to do with Patreon is make sure that I can give back to the people who are keeping me going, because Patreon is the thing that's doing it most of all. So these live streams that we're doing, if you support us on Patreon, you get a ticket to the live stream, even though you get the recordings of the live stream. Everybody's like, I missed it. I'm like, it's on Patreon. And it's so great to have, like, remember how everybody used to have a blog? And they go, well, I have a, and you'd have to get, like, Patreon is put all your stuff there. Put the videos from your live show, put the ad-free podcast, put the live stream, put the recording. You have this dedicated place that people can live, and people can be notified right away, and they can tell you what they want. They can send you messages. I love Patreon. It's exactly what I wanted for years and years. An easy way to connect with your people who love your stuff.
And I have to say, comment here. It looks like perhaps Quake has those bully sticks, because Christian said, I would send that, Dixie. Instacart for the win. I'll send you an email. Woo! So you'll be hearing from Christian.
I will send you a picture of Quake with the bull's penis in his mouth, Christian. He loves those things.
No, but I'm finding it's really interesting. Like,
Quake is her houseboy, by the way.
He's a big old Saint Bernard. So I'm really finding it interesting. Like, this has pushed us to explore other things. So like, we've done some patron only Get Vocal hangouts. Like, one of them, we all played Cards Against Humanity. It was a fucking riot. We had a great time. We're going to be doing the screenings of the show. I've always wanted to do that. And it was funny because
I want to go because I loved Texas Sunday.
You're already invited. I gave you special access.
Yay!
So you're invited. So I've always wanted to do that. I could never figure out what platform to do it on. I spent 2 days searching. Like, there's a program called Cast, K-A-S-T. Will it work there? No. Will it work here? No. And then I was like, Discord. And Ken started to put together a Discord server for us, like beginning of, like December, January. And we were just kind of like, Discord. Like, it's a big time investment. It's a big learning curve to learn Discord. It's like There's a lot.
There's a lot to it.
And then I realized that's where I can stream the show. Then I'm like, maybe now is a good time to start cultivating that community. And I mean, seriously, it's been maybe 36 hours since and I'm already like, everybody's here and everybody's talking and everybody like, oh my God, we've just started. So I'm really excited what this can become. And the fact that it never would have existed had all this happened.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be doing these things. I wouldn't be learning the lessons I'm learning if I hadn't been forced to. I was constantly in that churn of next show, coaching the storytellers, getting ready to get on a plane, all those kind of things. And it was like maybe 1 minute to recover. And then it was like, just like get back to, and now we had to figure it out. And I love it. And I never will think that I love it. Hi, Crystal.
Hi. Look who's here.
Hi, Crystal.
Tell everyone, like, we all know how y'all know each other, but let everyone else in on the fact how you all know each other.
You want to tell him, Dixie?
No, you tell him, Crystal.
I do everything backstage for Body Storytelling. Most everything.
Yeah.
I haul, I pack the car, I unload, I get Dixie dressed.
She's getting into my dress. She pulls my tits out.
It's my favorite part, actually.
Yeah. And also, Adam knows your other role because Adam said, "Uh-oh, her glasses are on." It's fine. Can you remove the glasses?
Yeah.
There.
I felt a little left out when Dixie did the show because I wasn't there and I haven't been there. But I loved that the night of on Saturday night, I got like 7 texts of like, the live stream isn't working. I don't know how to get the link. And I'm like, they think I can fix it.
It was so funny. Everybody, my phone's blowing up. My emails are blowing up. My Facebook's blowing up. Every storyteller was like, people say it's sold out. People say it's sold out. So everybody was reaching out to every single person going, Crystal, can you give me tickets? Can you give me tickets? It's like, unfortunately, we can't, there is no fire marshal to get around. We can't just pack 15 extra people. The room capacity is the room capacity. But you can sneak me in, can't you?
Oh, that's
well,
hilarious.
they thought I could fix the link. That was my favorite part. They were like, I don't know how to do this. And I was like, just go back to your email. There's a thing in there. That's how it worked for me. And they were like, oh, okay.
It's all right. Yeah.
Adam says it's a full-time job taking care of those boobies.
Yes. It's my job.
So, if y'all haven't been to a live body storytelling show, you're missing a lot. One of the things that's traditional is when Dixie's like, everyone clap, and the boobs are everywhere, and then there's motorboats. It's very like boob-centric, cleavage-centric. So, but on the show, we still got, like, you had like tit cam, like jiggling on your
best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Christian.
Hi.
So
How are you?
I'm doing well. I actually just wanted to tell Dixie I just became a Patreon member.
Thank you.
So
Oh,
there you go.
exciting.
So yeah, figured I'd help brighten up the day and add that I would totally join Patreon. So, and I will definitely send you an email, and I will totally get you some of those ballistics for.
Wait,
Quake.
have you seen pictures of Quake? Have you seen what Quake looks like?
Yeah, I'm on the body and
You're
Facebook group.
Are
Yeah.
you a yeah.
Yes, I am. Yes, and I've been to the live show, and I have a couple of selfies with you that are like some of my favorite pictures. So
I thought I recognized you. I have terrible facial blindness, but I looked at you and I went, "You look awfully familiar."
yeah.
Quake sometimes comes to the live show.
If next time that happens, I am going to like pet him all of the pets.
I have a picture somewhere, and I'll send it to Sunny so she can post it. One night we had a furry named Pacho Fur, and he was a dog, and we had to mic him special up inside his furry costume. And Quake came in at the break, and Quake's always like, "Where's Dixie?" And he's racing through hundreds of people trying to find me. And then he stops and went, "Is that a dog?" And there's a great picture of them going, "Oh my God, you're a dog. What are you doing in here? I'm not supposed to be in here either." So,
that's fucking amazing.
That's hilarious.
That is amazing.
But yeah, totally will send you an email, and I will get quick those bully sticks. It's the least that I can do. You are. Oh, look at him! So cute.
thank you. That, I swear to God, better than for me. I mean, I can't afford bully sticks for my dog right now. So you should see him lose his mind when he starts doing all the tricks at the same time. I'm going to swing. I'm going to high five. I'm going to, all the tricks. Just give me that fucking dog penis.
Will you please like post a video of Quake like on Patreon or something?
Yes.
Going crazy over the bully stick.
Yes. You message me. I can tag you, and I'll tag you and say, "Christian, you made this happen."
Sounds like a plan. So let's shoot you an email and we'll work this out. I'm glad I could at least help.
Thank you so much, and thanks for becoming a patron too. It means so
Not a
much
problem.
right now.
I figured I love your shows. I've been there multiple times. So I missed the live stream, and I was super sad because I was working. So I hope to make the next one. So.
And I just put up the ticket link like 2 hours before
Here, I'm gonna paste
for
it.
the next
So
live
I have it
stream.
here.
And patrons at a certain level, like $10, the sexy sidekick level.
That's where I actually. That's
So
where
you're
I
gonna
was
get
at.
a ticket to the live stream,
Yeah,
and
so
you're gonna get the recording for the live stream afterwards too.
sweet. And then once everything goes back live, I'm gonna up mine to $30. So I saw that it gets free tickets to the show, and it gives me an excuse to make sure that I'm there every month.
I have been feeling so guilty because, like, I've had people go, "What, your numbers jump?" And I'm like, "That was designed to run the live show." But now the live shows are on hold. So I'm like, I need to revamp my Patreon for the live stream and other things like that. So you're probably going to see some things, but that one will always be there because
Yeah.
we reserved seating at a certain level so that they can, we want our patrons to be treated really well.
No, yeah.
Crystal will come up and go, "Hi, Christian. Let me take you to your exclusive seat right up front."
That'll be awesome. Sounds great. All right, I'm gonna leave the spot for someone else to talk. It was great to see you guys.
Thank you for.
This whole conversation warmed my heart.
I know that.
Real quick, we got 2 minutes left until we stop the broadcast, but I want to remind people, stay here. We're going to have a little after party and just chit chat for a little bit. Again, if you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, on Periscope, that's awesome. But when we shut off the broadcast, you're gone and you don't get to after party with us. So hop on over to bit.ly, bit.ly /Sunny Get Vocal, SUNNYGETVOKL. And I'm going to paste one more time in the chat that you can only see if you're on Get Vocal. Both Dixie's Body Storytelling link and the link to the new American Sex Podcast Discord. Get on over here. With our 1 minute left, Dixie, any other links or things you want them to know? I know you have like a fun Facebook group. What should they know?
So as Christian was talking about, we have a Facebook group called Body Storytelling Fiends and Fans. It's an N in the middle, just like chicken N dumplings, fiends and fans. You can get in there. We just ask you a couple simple questions. Like, basically, are you gonna behave like a good person online? And then in there, I use them to brainstorm all the time. Sometimes I get stuck and say, do you want a story about this or that? What song goes well with something if this is the content? They're like my hive mind, you know? People that I can ask questions and their opinions. They're kind of like super fans. And there's, I don't know, 1,100 of them or something right now. I have more.
Wow.
Wow.
That's freaking amazing. Thank you. As you know, we love you to pieces. I am very excited to be telling a story next week on the segment.
And I want to say at the live stream, my goal, I'm going to try and make this happen. 2 things. Can I say 2 things before we sign off?
Sure, yeah.
One is, the thing that thrills me about live streams is that I can have people from all over the world. So I, like this last show, we had one in Cincinnati, a storyteller in Chicago. We had a storyteller who was, quite a good distance. We had one storyteller who was in Portland. So if you've always wanted to tell a story at Bawdy, then you can tell from wherever. Just send me a story pitch, Dixie@BawdyStorytelling.com, and record yourself. I'm from the South. I don't read. Don't fucking write nothing. I want to hear you tell the story. The other thing I want to say is, my goal, as we're trying to figure out this new territory, how to have sex positive community online, I am looking for one story in each show that is going to be about virtual sex, like how to navigate a virtual orgy, or how to do online domination, or if you have something that relates to online in particular, that's what I want to feature. One of those in each show so that we can keep learning during this time. We can make the best use. We can have the sexiest time we can possibly have while being sequestered.
Oh, thank you for that. We love you. We're going to say goodbye to the official recording. So those watching on replay, see you later. Those watching on simulcast places, see you later.
Bye.
We're going to have an after party. We'll see you next week, same time, same place, on Get Vocal, Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific every week. Mwah. Love you all. Bye. All right.